Coming up on Virginia Currents, how do you get a lion to pose for a picture? Wildlife photographer Lynda Richardson shares some fascinating tricks of the trade, and see how sculptor Diane Husson transforms cement into interesting wood-like garden furniture. And artist S. Ross Browne joins me in the studio for Daphne's Corner. Find out what inspires his memorable paintings, plus the memorable music of the impassioned Garth Newell Piano Quartet, all next on Virginia Currents. Welcome to Virginia Currents. I'm Daphne Maxwell Reed. Today's program features the unique methods of three standout artists in Virginia: a photographer, a sculptor, and a painter. First, we zoom into wildlife photographer Lynda Richardson. Over the past 30 years, Lynda's employers have included the Associated Press, Smithsonian Magazine, state, national, and international wildlife magazines, and the National Geographic Society. In her globe-trotting days across several continents, she's been up close with lions, tigers, and bears. Oh my! American presidents, international leaders, celebrities, and those in the underground crime world. Since our story with Lynda in 2000, she's changed her focus professionally and personally. She tells us how, one chilly spring morning while taking aim of the James River's most captivating residents.
Let's go discover the James.
Every time you go out to shoot something, it's an adventure. Oh my goodness. You don't want to give up until you get the picture. Oh, yes. I'm just always looking for something, I guess it's in my heart or my vision that I look for, because I want to portray something in a way that makes people love it or want to learn more about it or keep it on the earth or think more about it when they see it.
Look at that. It's so awesome when they look right at you. You know, their pupils go from like tiny, and when they look right at you, it's like the pupils.
I'm married to Mike Ostrander. This is his livelihood, taking people out to see eagles, to go fishing. I mean, I can't think of a better partner who has the same loves that I do.
How could this ever get old?
I know, look at this. I mean, I'm thrilled seeing the eagle this close, and we've seen this eagle close a lot. I have finally gotten a job that I would say is the culmination of all my experiences in life, which takes into account my hunting and fishing background, my 30+ years as a freelance photographer, my interest in educating the public, education, and I'm the art director of Virginia Wildlife Magazine now, and I'm ecstatic to have that position. Come on, beautiful girl. 2010, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. I had radiation for 6.5 weeks, every day except weekends, 6.5 weeks. I kept thinking, I've never seen pictures of this. I'm going to take pictures of myself. So I laid on the table and I had a little trigger. And I've had checkups. So they said I'm fine, totally fine. But you know what? Even feeling like I'm totally fine, you always have that teeny little sneaking thing underneath. And you always are like, wondering. You're happier for each day. You try to have joy with everything. And the older you get too, and your friends start dying or getting ill, it gets more and more real, and you start realizing, oh my gosh, there's an end here. And I've got all this junk in my house. What do I need this for now? You know, it's definitely a call to arms. There's an osprey chasing us. Is this Walter?
No, that's Mac.
How do you know them? How can you identify them from the boat?
Territories? In this 5-mile stretch that I spent a lot of time in that I do call Jefferson's Reach, there's 5 pair of resident eagles. It's going to be a specific pair of birds when you're within their defined territory. And the bald eagles, they're residents, so they don't migrate, they're here year-round. The osprey, they migrate, they come back, and the male and female arrive within a few days of each other back to the exact same nest site. The best way to identify birds when they're in flight, the bald eagle has got a wingspan that's flat like a board from tip to tip. It's very flat, and they are very steady in their flight pattern, where vultures have a dihedral or a V shape in their wings, and they tend to wobble a lot. They teeter and wobble. And osprey have a downward curve in their wings, and then heron also have a downward curve in their wings, but they're dragging their feet.
I love just sitting there watching their little movements, the little things they do, the things they observe. Oh my gosh, I think I've been in a blind 11 hours before. They don't know you're there normally unless they can smell you, and then when you place your blind, you try to place it so you're downwind of whatever you're photographing. I've had people, when I had tell me that my images have personality, and that is one of the best rewards, because a lot of people don't think animals have personalities. Chuck's eye is totally gone. Yeah, and ever since he got walloped in the eye, I don't see him working on building a nest. Each animal has its own personality, and based on its own experiences, just like people. His personality, he's curious, he's an opportunist, he's trusting.
Now on this next pole down here,
Oh, I see.
there's a great horned owl chick in the nest. That's an osprey nest that they took before the osprey returned from migration this year.
I love the face, the expressions on those baby puffballs.
Oh, look at the deer up along the bank. There's deer up on the bank.
I've called deer in by making a bleeding fawn sound, because they go, hey, there's a baby fawn out there, we should go check on it. Screech owl, a barred owl, a zebra. You can make a lion roar by pretending you're another lion at a distance. You can turn your head and I can't tell you how many times I have a lion go, what was that? And then they start just roaring and roaring, because they're going, I heard somebody in my territory, and I'm going to tell them I'm here, because they're not supposed to be in my territory. One time I walked up on a lion kill, and yeah, I know. Most people would go, you're an idiot. But I knew this pack of lions, and I knew they were really scared of people, so I knew that if they saw me, they'd run away. They were used to being chased by the local villagers and thrown spears at and keeping away from their goats and everything. And so they were really scared. I did the illegal wildlife pet trade in Nicaragua, and I took an assistant who could speak Spanish, and he was this big burly guy. And I also had the writer. We went into this really dangerous black market on wildlife pet trade things. And what happens is, in the market, if they want to steal things from you, one person will walk by you and they'll either have a knife or a screwdriver, and they jam it under your rib cage, so that when you go like this, whichever side, they pull your stuff off of on the other side and run with it. So that's why I would have them on either side of me. And then they said they saw the guys come in, working their way through the market to get to us. So they were like pulling me, and I'm like, wait, I'm not finished shooting yet. So that's why I always say the animals, I know them well enough to know what they're going to do, but the people, you don't. A lot of people would say things like, you're so brave to do that, and I'm like, no, I don't think of it as brave. I think of it as interested in life and interested in the things around me, and trying to bring those things back to other people who can't go and experience those things. I look back on my life and all the things that I've done. I wouldn't trade it for anything. And I've met everyone from mercenaries in the Kalahari Desert. I met one of Idi Amin's assassins. I've met presidents of the United States and various sundry celebrities in my path. And I wouldn't trade it for the world. It's such a life full of richness. One day, I swear, I'm going to write a book. One day, I'm going to write a book.
As mentioned in the story, Lynda is the art director for Virginia Wildlife Magazine. For more information on the magazine, Lynda's work, and Mike's Eagle boat tours on the James River, check out the websites listed on the screen.
Come on, beautiful girl.
In France, 150 years ago, the art form of cement faux bois was born. In French, faux bois means fake wood. It involves sculpting cement over iron and steel reinforcements to give the appearance of wood. So garden furniture and structures have the beauty of wood, yet can better survive the outdoor elements. Unfortunately, when the Art Nouveau period ended and the popularity grew of the Art Deco's bold geometric lines, the allure and know-how of cement faux bois dwindled off. Now, a century later, this lost art form has resurfaced, and at the helm is Norfolk artist Diane Husson. Let's step into her workshop to see what draws her into this unique sculpting technique of artful deception.
I love nature. As a child, I used to love to go on nature hikes and climb trees, and I'm constantly fascinated with branches and how every tree has a story. How it grew, if it's bent over, it tells you about the wind and the elements and how old it is, whether the bark is peeling, and it's almost like they talk to you, and I wanted to capture that story in my creations and capture that feel. There are people that actually will take live trees and they'll train them to become a chair or to become some kind of sculpture. And I sort of want my artwork to look like it could be one of those things that it's still alive and still growing. Well, I was a ceramic sculptor for about 20 years. And then I was bitten by the gardening bug, and I just began to love gardens and plant gardens, and I would think to myself, wow, I would really like to have some very interesting garden furniture. And I thought, as a sculptor, why don't I make it? And then I became fascinated and fell in love with the art of faux bois, which is a very old art form. And I began to learn everything I could about it, and I started to create garden furniture that looks like it grew in a garden. And the more I did it, the more excited I became. There are not a lot of people that practice faux bois right now, and part of the reason is it's multidisciplinary, meaning you need to be able to design something, and then there's metal work involved. Welding and torches, bending, rebar, a little bit of engineering also. And once you get the structure out of steel, then it needs to be covered with diamond lath. And that is like sewn on. I, kind of sew it on with stainless steel wire. But one thing I'll say about concrete is that it took me hundreds and hundreds of hours of internet research and asking questions. There aren't really a bunch of books from, years ago when people did faux bois that are like, here's our techniques and this is how you do it. It's not as easy as just, taking a half-day workshop and here's everything you need to know. Each artist needs to be on a journey. They need to do their own research. They need to do their own testing. It's really an exploration, and it takes years, and there's no shortcut. I'm learning that I wish I'd paid more attention in chemistry class in high school, because everything is chemistry. Everything is interactions and reactive this and set times and, you know, how heat and water and everything, you know, integrates. So I need to pay attention to it now, but now I have a motivation, so it's interesting to me. I try to resolve a lot of the design ahead of time because the clock is ticking, and if there's something major I haven't resolved, then it might not be a, you know, successful session with the concrete. So I try to have a vision in my mind at all times of where it's going. And then I just get into the zone where it's me and the concrete, and I try not to overthink it. There's some times where the cement will sort of have its own mind, where there'll be like a little crack or something, and you go, wow, that even looks more like wood than I could have planned. When I was doing the proposal for the Norfolk Botanical Garden for their tropical plant house, I said, I want this tree to look like it was there, and the tropical display house was built around it, and that it's this ancient tree. It ended up looking a lot like the tree that I used to climb that was in my front yard as a child, this old elm tree with the big tree knot, and the branches used to kind of go horizontal, and you could walk around up there, and it just was like a friend. That was not even necessarily planned. I just wanted it to be this old welcoming tree. But I guess to me, in my spirit, that's what an old welcoming tree looks like, is that childhood tree. I'm finding that trees that I'm surrounded with and have been as a child are what influenced my work the most, probably. I do feel like as an artist, part of who we are infuses our artwork. You know, we touch it sometimes for weeks on end. My hands are on that. Part of my nature is kind of going with that bench. It's spiritual as well as just a technical, you know, I'm not just filling an order. The artwork that's reflected, that is nature, there's no way that a human being can capture anything even close. But if I can just capture that fleeting glimmer of the beauty and the healing and the essence of what makes nature so powerful and so inspiring, then I feel like I've done what I set out to do. I think nature is very comforting to people, and I want my benches to feel like nature is calling to you to come and sit and rest and be embraced by it.
Diane's sculptures have been widely exhibited and appreciated by those who share her joy of art and nature. To find out more about Diane's art, go to newrelics.com. Virginia Currents TV programs can be seen anywhere, anytime at ideastations.org/Virginia Currents. And to hear Virginia Currents radio stories, visit ideastations.org/Radio Currents. Joining us today on Daphne's Corner is inspired award-winning artist S. Ross Browne from Richmond. Ross dons many hats like those of painter, illustrator, writer, educator, and art instructor. His artwork has graced the covers of magazines and books and has been featured in over 70 art galleries and museums around the world. Ross studied communication art and design at VCU and has practiced therapeutic art at VCU Health Systems for pediatric oncology patients, patients in brain injury rehab, inpatient psychology, and elder care. He joins us now in the studio. Welcome, S. Ross Browne.
Thank you. Thank you, Daphne.
I would like to start off by asking you about your inspiration for your paintings. You seem to put Black women in situations that they don't usually get depicted in. What is your inspiration for those kinds of paintings?
Well, I think my inspiration could probably be summed up best in my artist statement, but I can read an excerpt from that real quick, and that would probably make it suffice. I'm passionate about challenging preconceived notions of the shared human experience and eroding the conventionally assigned racial archetypes. And I think that basically sums up that inspiration.
And your inspiration for the style of painting that you do comes from history and...
Well, it comes a little bit from history, mainly from life, from painting from life, but I was a big fan of the Italian Renaissance and the romantic depiction, the drama that was shown in those paintings.
Wonderful. One of the women that we see in your work is represented right here in the studio. And I understand this is an allegory of a myth?
Yes, actually it's an allegory of a bit of history that's not been talked about. This is called A Forgotten Allegory of Souls, and it depicts a reclaiming of history and a healing, whereas it's not shown a lot in history that sometimes kids were used as bait back during slavery for alligators. And I thought that was just horrendous, and trying to get into the mind of those children and the fear and the terror, and I wanted to heal that part of history by depicting this as a symbol of strength and even forgiveness.
Is that what you wanted the audience to take away from your paintings?
Yes, I want them to take away aspects of reclamation, of saying, hey, this is strength. I'm seeing a portrayal of not only strength, but of the past, of a possible future, of the future, but where we are included.
And do you talk about that in your art therapy when you're, tell us about the art therapy work that you do.
Oh, the work there definitely encompasses self-expression as a guide to healing, you know, as in with my work. And I have people produce work that helps them cope with the stress and the fear of finding out about if they have cancer, if they have a physical challenge like a stroke or a brain tumor, using art to help rebuild those synapses and foment healing that way. And it's very miraculous how it actually works.
Wonderful. Now, you have a lot of accomplishments. Give us one that you're most proud of.
I was definitely proud to be in the permanent collection of the VMFA. I was always a big fan and watched it grow over the years, and recently, not too recently, but recently I was, as a purchase, was made part of the permanent collection, and I'm very proud of that.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And thank you very, very much for joining us. It really has been a pleasure talking to you.
Oh, it's been my absolute pleasure.
Excellent. To find out more about Ross Browne's work, visit his website, srossbrowne.com.
That's the E at the end of Browne.
Yes, an E at the end of Browne. Today's spotlight on Virginia music shines on the Garth Newell Piano Quartet, made up of artists in residence at the Garth Newell Music Center in Warm Springs, Virginia. Their spirited interpretations of standard and new repertoire make them one of the most active chamber music organizations in the country. They program and perform over 50 concerts each year and have performed on 5 continents at such prominent venues as Carnegie Hall and Strathmore Hall. The Garth Newell Piano Quartet is dedicated to educating and nurturing the next generation of chamber musicians and holds an annual competition for rising composers. Here now is a taste of their talent. And we thank you for watching Virginia Currents. Join us next time for more inspiring stories. I'm Daphne Maxwell Reid.